To Facebook Lives. I got my miracle, and I'm Sally Farnick, and I want to say welcome to my friend Marty from Michigan.
Thank you.
And Marty, I'm going to just ask you what brought you to Rhythmia?
Well, I turned 60 last June, and I had been, I had a career. I had, well, three careers by that point, where I had created a persona that I did very well.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when all those things ended, my kids were grown too. All these roles that I was playing that I was very good at all kind of ended. So I was stuck in this position of what's my purpose?
Mm.
What's my purpose now? And it was a big hole that I could not answer through any kind of therapy, self help books, documentaries, you name it. I was like a self help junkie.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
And if somebody told me a problem, I go, oh, I had a book for you. And still nothing. And I needed to get down to the root. And there's always been something that I've carried with me my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
This obstacle, this thing keeping me from getting where I needed to go, where I needed to feel fulfilled. I had achieved and received everything I had wished for, but I was still empty.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And I've got a little plaque that said, remember when you wished for everything you have? It's in my, I look at it every day. I'm like,
wow.
yeah, I've got everything to be happy about, but that wasn't
happy.
Wasn't making me feel better.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I started on a spiritual path of meditation, mindfulness, and plant-based diet, and all these ways to just get in alignment. Still nothing.
Uh-huh.
So I did a little bit of research and somehow stumbled on the internet across Rythmia,
mm-hmm.
and had planned and canceled a couple times, but finally committed. Various things going on in my life I had to cancel.
Okay.
So I ended up here 2 weeks ago for a week.
Yes.
It's going to be here for a week, and got here. I wish I would have taken a before and after picture. I didn't do that.
You didn't?
I did not take a before picture
Well.
because I'm told that I'm about 30 years younger looking now.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually 90 years old. That's why I say I'm 60. So I reversed it. So
there you go.
No,
you don't even look 60.
So yeah, no, I told that again and again, and that was just the stress I was carrying on me, the etching in my face, and my whole energy of somebody who is carrying the weight of the world, which I did because I thought that was admirable.
Right.
You know?
We do.
Mm-hmm.
To be busy, to be suffering
Right.
is admirable.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
To etch that on your gravestone.
Right.
And forget who you were very quickly.
Right. Exactly. So you came down with the intention to do 1 week.
Right.
And so tell me a little bit, what was the highlight of week 1?
Week 1, there's 3 intentions that you try to cover. They're the base intentions. What do they call them?
Trinity.
Trinity. The Trinity of 3 intentions.
Mm-hmm.
The number 1 is show me who I've become.
Mm-hmm.
Second is merge me with my soul at all costs.
Right.
And the third is heal my heart.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, all right, that's cool. And I went in with a lot of anxiety about the first intention, show me who I've become, because I can talk to lots of people in my life who will cast their ridicule and BS on me.
Uh-huh.
But so I was expecting this cosmic kind of universe of dump job on me of all the bad things I've done and who I am and so on, because I could get that from the people around me.
Right? Sure.
Just justifying their shitty behavior.
For sure.
So what I did that, and the first night was what you would expect from ayahuasca. It was the Disney ride trip.
The Disney ride trip.
You get the visuals and everything.
This is fun.
Oh yeah, this is great. So I did the whole trajectory that night, and I saw myself. I was back on the front lawn of our house when I grew up.
Wow.
Seeing myself when I was 5 years old, and it was a little boy standing there with a Hot Wheel, looking into the house, not knowing what to expect when you walk into the house. I had a dirty face. I had a stub toe, knew I was going to get in trouble. It was dusk out because back then you're told to get out of the house and come back.
Don't come back till dark.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was standing out there afraid to go in, and I told my little boy, I said, you don't have to go in there. You don't have to go into that house.
Wow.
So that's kind of where it was left. And then I just advanced forward and said, all along you've been that scared 5-year-old who's created a life around you and a persona to not be hurt again.
Yeah.
Because I'm a state trooper, I'm a detective, I'm an Air Force special agent, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to hurt me? And we had a guy in this week, he was a Navy
You're
SEAL.
still holding your Hot Wheel.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a turtle.
Oh, sorry.
It's a turtle.
Sorry.
So we had a guy he's a Navy SEAL, and he said the exact same thing. He says, I've been scared my entire life, and I've created this whole persona to protect myself and to protect others. And if I can protect others, we can all be safe.
Right.
And he that's when I merged with my soul. I got to see who I was, who I become. So that was enlightening, and it was done in a very gentle way. It came to me. The next night, Tuesday night, was another ceremony, and we have other things going on. We have meditation, we have massages, and hot and cold plunges, and cleanse, colonics, and all these things in classes.
Yeah.
And sometimes your revelation comes to you in other places, like during a massage.
Right.
Or breath work was powerful. I don't know if there's anybody. I've never done breath work.
Yeah, I hadn't prior to coming to it.
Gosh, just from breathing.
Yeah, I had some powerful experiences in breath work.
Oh man, I would get these because all the clearing out was done during the ayahuasca ceremony. All that old generational or ancestral bad stuff that you've been carrying inside of you, that's been your blockage, cleared out. Now it's open. These portals are open for all this truth to emerge. So the second night started out nice and smooth. I figured, okay, strap in the ride, here we go. And just the bottom fell out. It was like one of those tilt-a-whirls in the circus where you're printing up against the wall and the bottom falls out. And it was just like a trip to hell. And I went out and played the hammock. I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow. This is crazy stuff, man.
This is Tuesday night, and you're leaving. He's like, I'm leaving on Wednesday.
Like, keep my money. I'm going home. So I walked into the back into the hall, and there's all sorts of stuff going on in there in Maloka. And I walked past the fire pit, and the song was playing. And it was such a beautiful melody. It was a breakup song, but a love song. I love you. Thank you. I forgive you. But basically, it's time for us to part.
Yeah.
And my controlling self that couldn't control the chaos around me was what was really driving me crazy. I couldn't stop. There was quad runners running in the woods and dogs barking and all of a sudden I'm going, ah. And so as I was walking in, the song was playing. I'm like, oh, beautiful song. I had to say goodbye to my own controlling self. And I went inside and I just started dancing. And I'm throwing light balls of love, light all around the room, and people started to respond.
Nice.
And women and men were getting up, and and turned the whole to me. My Viking ancestors started to channel through me, and now I'm in a Viking hall as the chieftain, with my shield maidens and my warriors.
Nice.
Leading this tribal like pagan dance.
Nice, yeah.
And the message was, you can influence more people through spreading love and light than you can trying to control them and do their stuff for them. Because I was always the fixer. Oh, I'll fix it. Don't worry about me. So that's when I merged with my soul.
Beautiful.
I said, this is your purpose, Marty. Your purpose is to spread love and light.
Nice.
Third intention, heal my heart. I could not get to my heart.
Oh.
I could not get to it. This is Friday now, Saturday, still not there. I'm like, so then I rebooked for another week. Right? So I'm like, I got to get there. So
that's always an answer.
If a week was good, 2 will be better.
Right, right.
So I booked and stayed in breath work. My heart was healed through this. I was sitting by the fire one night, and as with the state police, I responded to a lot of really bad, ugly scenes. And I was back in the rooms of these bad scenes, these crime scenes. And the message was, there's a reason you can't get your heart, because you've been hardening it your entire life. You have layers over your heart. Okay, so I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't do anything wrong, and I forgot about all those things because that's just what you do.
Right.
So I once I understood that, in breath work, suddenly I'm breathing, and I had the stem cell treatment too.
Mm-hmm.
And 50 million stem cells rushed to my chest, and a big white light, just a big sphere of white light, replaced that cast iron, burnt amber box that was my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Replace it, and this big glowing white light was there.
Amazing.
Okay, and we were all laying, and I took it out of my chest and I held it up, and the white light shined on everybody.
Yeah.
I said, "This is me spreading the light."
Oh.
And I put it back in, and then I opened up, and it was like Iron Man, where suddenly this fire hose of white light and love sprayed out, hit the ceiling, splashed all over everybody, and it was just that I healed my heart
Beautiful. In breath work.
in breath work.
Nice.
And
You
then,
said we tell you this happens. Most people probably don't believe us.
oh no, it's big time.
Yeah, breath work's powerful.
Absolutely, and at the weirdest places, because the ayahuasca allowed me to remove all that.
Mm-hmm.
And ayahuasca wasn't a, daffodils and buttercups and unicorns trip. It was work.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go to the bad places and go through them to get out of them.
Mm-hmm. Just to go through them.
Mm-hmm. And the second week, I'm like, okay, well, I'm already booked now, so I guess I got to stay. So it was great, because then, a whole new group of people came in, and got to help them feel comfortable, because everybody that comes in is like nervous as heck.
Right.
Don't know what to expect, all the horror stories and so on. It's not bad at all. It's fantastic. So they all came in, made it home, said goodbye to all the old friends, said hello to a bunch of new ones. And so the next week was all about my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to execute my purpose? And I said, show me how I am to take my purpose forward. And it took me most of the week to get to that. And finally, last night, I was and every night in ayahuasca was a wrestling match with the stuff inside me that was blocking.
Mm. So you're clearing.
The one night that I think it was Monday night, it was just a wrestling match. I could feel this something was fighting something that was nested inside me and just not wanting to come out. I still don't know what it was. Like I'm guessing it was some ancestral trauma or blockage that I had that needed to come out. And it felt like just a wrestling match. And on my way back to the room, I purged, threw up, and it was like it came out.
Beautiful.
And I woke up the next day and I had some shoulder pain that was bothering me all week. That was gone. This was no longer bothering me. That this thing that was just weighing on my existence was gone. So that kind of cleared the way. So last night in breathwork, I had to. I asked. My intention was, show me how I am to take my purpose forward, and it put me back on the front lawn of my house. There was a lot of chaos there. You never know what you were going to walk into.
Okay.
So I was standing there saying, hot wheel, dirty face, standing between me and my 5-year-old self. And this white light is shining. I've got it. This is my white light of love. And I suspended it in front of his head.
Yeah.
And I became the 5-year-old. And I'm looking at the house, and I said, how am I to spread love and light? And like a UFO, fast as this white light shot into the house through the front door, illuminated the interior. Rays of light were shining out of every window and door, and the house exploded. And that basically was, I've always been with you, the light, my soul.
Right.
I've always been with you. I've never left you.
Right. Because
at the beginning of the week, I started with, I will never leave you. I will never leave you again. And it turned into, I've never left you. I've always been with you. And it, so that's how I'm going to continue to work on how am I to carry my purpose forward.
That's so beautiful. So that's so cool. You went back to the exact same setting, you at the exact same age, the second week. You went back to the same place twice. First week, second week. And the second week, it showed you your purpose. And wow.
That's where it all started.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of they call it, and we had a pretty good class with Doc Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
and he talks about the split,
Yeah.
dissociative split happens between 2 and 7 typically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that happens that causes you to split from your soul and create another identity as a survival strategy.
Right.
And that's who you become, but it's not who you are.
Right.
You could be a guitar player pretending to be an attorney the rest of your life, and not fulfilled.
Right.
And every time you take off that attorney mask, you get punished.
Oof.
I said, put it back on.
Oof.
But you really want to play the guitar.
Right.
And the guitar player never stops screaming from the basement saying, I'm still here. So.
Wow, that's beautiful. Great analogy.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I found what the greatest metaphor for me was to the whole control thing. We don't have control over our environment. We can try to structure things and so on, but jump into the river, lift your feet, and let it take you where it's going to take you.
Love it. Don't try to fight the stream. Don't try to fight the flow.
Right. And everybody says, it's funny because I came in with a list. Well, tonight I'm going to blah, 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 blah. I'm like, in the second week, I'm like, yeah, because Mother Ayahuasca, I'm going to go, let me see that list. Here's where you're going.
Right, exactly.
And it was so good, because it puts you in the right spot to where, you don't have control over everything.
Right.
I had a few, one in particular, what was the first night when I was on my Disneyland trip, and I went outside and all the stars were connected by these laser lights, and the message was, we are all one, we are all connected, the entire universe is connected, and we were all part of it.
Right.
And it stayed that way.
Yeah.
So those were the kind of visuals that I was having, these that really suited my need to see things in the spectrum. I wouldn't typically see them in my logical self. So it was like,
yeah,
2 weeks was tough.
2 weeks is tough, but we had like 4 of you doing that. That's amazing.
There's 4 of us. Yeah. I wish I would, like I said, the before and after picture, because everybody's like, man, you look younger every day. You look younger every day. I'm like, okay. So
I like it.
When I get to 18, you can kick me out.
Then you'll be too young to drink. Amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Marty, this was so fabulous. Yeah. So what would you say to somebody on the fence? Well, I'm not a state trooper, or I'm not a, detective, or I'm not a, what would you say to somebody who looks at you and go, well, I'm not at all like you. Why would I come to Rythmia?
It's not about who you think you are. Okay. It's about who your soul is. Your soul. Okay. That stuff is something you created just to respond to your environment.
Right. True.
Okay. Yeah. It's connecting back with your soul. Everybody's important.
For sure.
And even, a housewife and mother is probably the most important, because, if they're in that role and they're connected, you're less likely to end up here. So, and it's like, yeah, I mean, they're all important, and they need to be like, so it's not about what you do, it's who you are. Yeah. And we had, like I said, we had A-list actors here. We had professional MVP athletes, and they're like, hey, isn't that so-and-so? Hey, isn't that? I was sitting at the table with a one actress who I watched her series 5 times,
Wow, yeah.
And I was sitting there for a week with her, talking to her, and somebody goes, hey, that's so-and-so. I'm like, nah. So I go, hey, what do you do? She goes, oh, I'm an actress. Like, you're her.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, so it was so cool. Just normal people. And it's just like you're connecting with
we're all normal people.
And they don't want to be like anybody. I mean, it's just like we're all on our own journey. Everybody's got their own journey. You're here as just a soul that's connecting. And it's and there's so much that goes on. You're sharing this shared experience where the ego just you can't leave this at the end of this week with an ego with all that goes on.
Well, and do the work properly.
Exactly. You got to let the teardown happen.
Right.
Because the more you fight, it's not going to happen.
Right.
And I was here with 3 others, and just the appearance in them, 2. Yeah. 2 different people.
Right.
Amazing. And I think I might have mentioned it, like they say that 5-10 years of therapy in one night.
Right.
1 week.
Yep.
Just, I cannot conceive of ever arriving where I arrived in talk therapy or whatever works for other people. To get to where I got to, never would have happened.
It has its place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has. I feel like it has its place until you get to the next step.
Right.
And ayahuasca it's my medicine for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helped me on my journeys.
And also just, I talked to my son a couple times at home on FaceTime, and my whole exchange with him, completely different. Completely
Because
different.
you're completely different.
I'm completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And he responded to it, and he's 25, he's back
Nice.
watching the house and so on.
Nice.
And I've got 3 boys, and I did talk to my 22-year-old today as well. And yeah, I mean, the conversation, they just pick up on the energy, and all that old paradigm and those dynamics that have been created and stuff, gone.
Yeah.
Totally gone. Then you wish it for them.
Right. For
You
sure.
wish it for them. I wish this for them. I wish they can go through their whole life and know what I know, because it's the secret.
Right.
It is the secret. And they'll arrive at that point, because this is a big deal.
Yeah.
This is a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll arrive at that point, I hope sooner than later.
Sure.
Because I don't want them to go through life with this belief that they have to live by all the false beliefs that they have been.
Right. But you
living
leading the charge is powerful.
Right.
They're going to look at you and go, hey,
Yeah.
you did this. I think I can do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be that influence them by spreading love and light.
Mm-hmm.
My patience
Right.
is better.
Yep.
My tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that first night, Tuesday, when I'm laying in the hammock and all this noise is going on and I'm losing my mind. There's not a dang thing I can do about all this stuff. And it's not my role to do something about it.
Right.
And I've turned that need not to be controlling, but to jump in and help. My whole life hasn't been about, oh, there's trouble, I better go that way. It's been about, go that way.
I'll go into it.
Go into it.
Mm-hmm.
And not everything in life needs for me to jump in and remove it. Because when you do that for your kids and you do that for the people around you, basically what you're telling them, I'm doing this because you're not capable.
And you're robbing them of the experience.
Right. And you're hobbling them emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Not if you do it because,
You do it because you love them.
you love them. And you also don't want them to go too far. So you hobble them so they don't go too far.
Fair.
And now I'm still needed. So who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for them or are you doing it for you?
Interesting. Now you unpacked a lot of things in that one little statement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, to just tie all that in together.
Yeah.
And then with the ayahuasca experience where it removes everything and shows you things you would never see.
Right.
I can see this actually just expanding in the future to be mainstream
I hope so.
practice.
I hope so. It's beautiful medicine.
Yeah.
It does amazing, amazing work.
Medicine.
Yeah, it's
medicine.
medicine. It's 100% medicine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's always, this is perception it's a drug, and it's not. It's a medicinal treatment.
Yeah.
And I worked in police work and narcotics and all this other stuff. And I'm asked, well, what do you think about that? You're doing drugs. I'm like, it's not drugs. It's, there's no problem going up to CVS and getting a, prescription for whatever.
Right. Well, I've had enough surgeries. I know what medicine feels like. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you do have these weird visions on it. And sometimes you do have crazy feelings on it. So it's good.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I'm very thankful for this. I'll be back absolutely in the future.
Awesome.
Maybe not right away.
You need a little break after 2 weeks. I can't imagine why.
Gosh, I gotta have this all settled in. Now, I've tuned up this nice race car. Now I gotta take it on track and spin it around. I can't keep it in the garage revving the engine saying, "Hey, check out my new car."
Right.
I gotta take it out and spin it around. If I hit a wall,
there you go. Perfect. So what's one last bit of wisdom you would share with our audience out here about maybe somebody who's thinking about coming to Rythmia but just hasn't pulled the trigger yet? Or what would you say to somebody?
Well, go to that which is hard.
Oh.
Integrity is doing the harder right as opposed to the easier wrong. If you're true to yourself, go toward the hard, because that's where you're going to learn the lessons, and that's what you learn here. When you go under ayahuasca, you had a choice. You can go, I'm going to have another cup and go to the hard, or I'm just going to be done and I'll play it safe. And you don't advance. Yeah. You go to the hard, you get to where you need to go. Right. And if your decision is to come here, that's where you need to go. And it will call you.
Oh, 100%.
I was called here. I was drawn here. I didn't certain things I can say, logically I sought them out. I got on top,
Yeah.
but
Synchronicities were popping up.
but I was pulled. I
No,
was
for
pulled in
sure.
this direction.
Me too.
Said, this is time, Marty. You need to be here. And yeah, I'm going to go back home. There's others like family issues that will be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to be resolved, but
Yeah.
they'll be
Your
addressed.
new energy will be helping with that. So that's
Exactly,
beautiful.
but I'll be happy with the result regardless of what it is.
Beautiful. I love that. Well, Marty, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying yes to the interview.
Yeah.
Saying yes to Rhythmia, saying
Mhm.
yes to a second week.
Mhm.
I have noticed in my life when I say yes, magic happens.
Mhm.
So keep
Mhm.
saying yes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. So come visit us at Rhythmia Life Advancement Center. The phone number's on the screen there, and we'd love to have you. We're in beautiful Guanacaste, Costa Rica. The weather is amazing. And join us. Yeah. All right. Have a beautiful Saturday. Bye.